Why, hello, and welcome back to another episode of Voice of the Rings, and this is a real quick LOTRO guide. It's pretty much also a new thing they've added to the game. It's we're going to do this one as a 101 for dummies. We're going to talk about carryalls. What are carryalls in the Lord of the Rings Online for our newer players? Carryalls are basically like a single item, so if we click I for inventory on our keyboard when we're logged into our character, brings up our inventory, right? Looks like this. Real quick, I have a whole guide on inventory, but there's a little tiny gear, if you see it, that says edit mode. If you click that small gear, you will actually see that see these boxes down here, all these little bags, next to the LOTRO store, those little bags, those are all individual bags. Now, in theory, you can then left click with your mouse, drag and drop these, and and usually your bags will all start like this, all right? So if we turn the edit gear off, you can see we have a separate bag. I personally like to take all of my inventory slots and put them in the same bag. So I put them all into bag one. So I drag all of my inventory slots from all the different bags and I put them all in bag one. And then I turn off editing, and it's all in one place, okay? So, little side note there. Now, into carryalls. So, this is the new thing. We have a little information bar down here, which is very small, I understand. But let me just read it real quick, and I'll explain what carryalls are. Carryalls help organize your inventory by storing specific types of items. All right, well, that was a nice little explanation it has right there. The new thing with this, was why I'm making this quick video for you, is that you can now rename carryalls. This was something you could not do before. To rename carryalls, you click the, I will explain, let me just show you, instead of reading that whole thing. So these are carryalls all right here. If I hover them, they will say large crafting carryall. Now, carryalls will carry a certain type of item, okay? A certain type of item. What do I mean by a certain type of item? If you're a new player, like, there are so many items in this game, it could get overwhelming. Well, try not to get too overwhelmed. Usually it is, let's start with the different sizes, okay? There are small, medium, and large carryalls, all right? Don't worry about what kind of item they hold yet, right? Just think about their small, medium, and large, okay? So large carryalls, if you right-click on them, they bring up a new tab, and you notice here that says 10 out of 50. So large carryalls can always hold 50 items. Don't think about what kind of items yet, just know they can hold 50 items. Medium carryalls, I believe, are 25? I don't have a whole lot of mediums to actually show you because I usually try to only get large ones for it's better bang for your buck if you've earned them for a thing. They usually come. Here's a medium. So medium has 25, I was correct from my memory, and a small carryall has 10. I do recommend, if you can save up enough points if you're buying one in the LOTRO store, I recommend going for the 25 or 50. I think it's more worth for your money, even though, yes, it's going to be more expensive too. But now, the next thing you need to know is what they gather, what they hold. Crafting carryalls are one of the most helpful, I feel, and task carryalls, okay? Crafting carryalls are any item that is used for a crafting profession. They usually have a background that is slightly green. I have an entire guide video on, I think it's the moderate guide playlist, the normal hard. I have different levels of difficulties on videos for guides. I believe I go through a whole thing of all the item colors, what they mean, what they're for. It's a longer video. It's not going to be as long as this one, so I won't go too much into it. But just know that the crafting ones have a greenish hue behind the item, okay? And if you hover it, it usually will say what it is used for most of the time. And the bag will automatically know what a crafting item is. What do I mean by that? All right, so when you go to get your crafting item bag, there's a little button here called Auto. If you click Auto on, whenever you pick up a crafting item off the ground, whether you dig it up off a prospecting, or you pick up branches, or you pick up some, crafting relic, it'll automatically get sucked into your bag, all right, if there is room in your bag. Mind you, there has to be enough room. If it's 50 out of 50 already, it will stack any item up to, I believe, is it 5,000? I think it's that much. I don't know if I have any item that much to show you, but I believe it's 5,000. But it's of that uniquely named item. Now, for my newer players, not to get you confused by saying that, the special unique item name is pretty much just the same picture, same name. So, for example, this is a Minas Ithil ingot, okay? And it has that picture. They're all going to stack, okay? Now, if I had another item in my inventory, let's say, again, it's this Legendary Fragments, right? And this bag was full, for example. Let me open another crafting bag that is full. I have a lot here, so let me see. I try to keep them where they're balanced. There we go. Here's a full one. If I try to drag and drop this into this bag, watch, you just drag and drop with left click. If it doesn't auto do it, you can just drag and drop. You notice it doesn't let me because it's full, and there's no other item of that piece on there. But if I had another one in there that was a legendary fragment, it would fill up and drop on top of them. Okay, so that's kind of a cool little side note there. Put that one back in there. But yeah, that's kind of nice. Oh, and also it seems to take them out in chunks of 500, which is kind of interesting. So I believe if you hold down shift, you should be able to bring them all out at once. Let's see if that works. No, it just takes 500 each time. Okay, cool. Good little side note there. I didn't even realize that. Usually you don't have that many of an item as often. So now that you know all of that, how do you re-edit the name? So right here at the top, it automatically comes with the name of what the bag is for. It says large crafting carryall. Well, there's this new little feather. See this tiny little feather and it says rename? It's really, really small. I know, and I've got a big monitor, so it's a little small for the video probably, but you can see where a mouse is, right next to the search engine there. You can click that and you can edit by clicking it. And then if you click up at the top, right on top of the words, you can actually delete the words. See how it turned into deletable? See how I'm going back? I'm actually erasing it. And I could say this is my metalsmith. And then smith crafting items, right? And then I'll say check. And now look at that. This bag will always be called metalsmith. And if I hover the bag, I believe it'll also show the name metalsmith. Now, let me just double check to see if I am correct on my statement or not. I'm curious if they updated it to... Yes, it does. See how it shows that now if I hover the item in my inventory, it says that's my metalsmith bag? See, so now granted, you'll have to manually sort it yourself, but that's still good to know. Now, what if I had a couple crafting items? I'm going to pull them out, left click, and drop them in my inventory. By the way, when you craft, it will directly pull items from your crafting bags. There are some... I'm trying... Actually, you know what? Take that comment with a grain of salt, guys. You may have to pull the items out for crafting. I believe you can craft straight from your bags. There are some items that you will have to pull out that aren't crafting items. I know this to be able to use them on things. But most of the time, like dyes, I believe dyes have to be pulled out of the dye carryall and put in to use on your clothes. So just a little side note for everybody. But now if I click gather here, it's on auto. So if these items had been picked up off the ground, it would automatically have been sucked into my bag. But if I click gather, whoop, did you see how they disappeared? They immediately went into this bag. So that gather button's really nice. There's also a search engine here where you could search legendary. If I put ledge, oh, look at that. There they are, right? And also, another little side note, if I search in this, it blanks out anything in the search, including my crafting carryalls, except for things with ledge. So, little side note, this search bar in your inventory will search all of your crafting carryalls, okay? So if you have a bunch of things out like I do, right? See all these different carryalls? If I search here, you know, T, anything that has a T in it, or let's say TE, all right? Oh, text, right? It searches exact words, right? Text, there's a TE in moat, right? It shows all the things that have a TE in them. So it's only in the title of the item, okay? That's what you're searching for. So if you know what the name is from the LOTRO wiki, you're looking at a certain resource you have, like, oh, I need hides. Type in hide. Oh, look, if I go through, you can see it blanked out all my hides. And also, this is a good way to realize if you have overlap. See how this hide is over here? I'm actually going to drag it and drop it over here. Oh, actually, you know what? I think you have to take them out. Yeah, and then drop them in. Or click gather to suck them in. So that's one thing. You can't drag things from one carryall to the other. You do have to bring them into your inventory first and then move them over to the other carryall. Good information for anyone new using carryalls to know. But again, the new naming thing, it's a brand new thing. That's nice. Instead of just having a ton of large carryalls, now you can craft. But again, remember that trick. You click the edit button and then you're like, where do I type? You have to click directly on the blue bar, okay, of that one. And it brings up an editing and you can click, you know, back, you know, and do it. And I'm going to click X to cancel it. So it's just like you were writing on some app, right? It's really very self-explanatory once you understand how to do the editing of the name. So anyway, it's a cool addition to the game. Those are carryalls. And again, remember, there are many types of carryalls. There are ones for crafting. There are ones for dyes. You know, I have one right here for dyes. There are ones for essences and other things. It also works for tracers for new legendary items. They kind of transformed it to do both, which is cool. There is, I believe we have housing decorations. There's one for housing, for decoration. There's the large, there's the carryall for tasks. Tasks, if you're going to ask me, well, Zollin, which one do you think is the best to get, right, for a new account? I only have enough to buy one. Crafting is the highest on the tier, in my opinion, because crafting items sell for a lot. If you're a crafter, it helps you. You get a lot of them all the time. But tasks are something you always pick up off mods and quickly fill up your inventory. So if you get a 50 extra inventory room for tasks, that is awesome. All right. Now, one thing that is kind of a bummer sometimes is there's a button here, by the way, too. If you don't want to drag and drop, I should have said this at the beginning. If you left click directly on something, you can click this little arrow and it'll move selected to your backpack, meaning out into your actual main inventory. Okay. So you can do that. I don't think you can do more than multiple at once. And again, remember, it moves it in stacks of 50. You can't really do anything else with it there. Now, of course, you could always do, shift when you move. If you hold down shift and move an item in your regular inventory, you can bring up this little thing to cut it in half, select a certain amount, only do one, select them all to move them around. And again, you can always just drop them on top of each other to see if they will fit. The reason, by the way, that it is not letting me pull out more than 50 at once for these particular item, and it was 500 for legendary fragments, is because normally in your normal inventory you could only have a stack of 50, and normally you can only have a stack of 500 when it comes to crafting items in your inventory. So that's why it's doing that, right? So again, if I bring up all these legendary items and try to stack them on each other, they just switch places in the inventory. They won't stack. But when it comes to gathering and the thing, these can stack up to, I believe, again, 5,000 is the number, I believe. And same thing with these. This is why task is so helpful, because the tasks only stack 50 in your regular inventory. But in here, I can gather up, look at that, I can stack 270 in one, right? So that's basically, that one slot is saving me, what, 5 slots? 6 slots on my actual inventory? Very helpful. Carryalls are kind of a must-have as you're playing farther in the game. You won't need them early on. There is a way to earn a couple ways to earn more inventory with LOTRO points by buying it that permanently adds to your whole account on that. I think, is account-wide or just server-wide for the inventory? I think it's account-wide, but it may be just the server you're on. I don't remember that particular off the top of my head. It's not super important, but you could always double check that when you're buying in the LOTRO store. It'll say account-wide, server-wide. It will say the different words if you're buying those extra slots. And that's for your regular inventory. There's just a couple little bonuses that you can upgrade it slightly. But again, the crafting carryalls are a nice addition. And by the way, if you have a bunch of them on your screen and you want them all to go away all at once, just click escape on the keyboard. Ta-da! Okay, so anyway, my friends, I hope that was a helpful video for 101 for Dummies there on carryalls and the new how to name them. And yeah, have a great day in Middle Earth. Thanks to my Patrons for the support. Thank you for watching. Subscribe button's there if I earned it. Maybe a like. It's free. Even a comment. And you need anything else, let me know. I will try my best to answer the questions if it's this subject or a different one. Maybe in the future I'll make another video if you leave a good comment. Subscribe button again, and over there is the next video for guides, and over there is LOTRO Tale where I do voiceovers in the Lord of the Rings Online. Barukazan Kuzan, and you stay happy, my friends, and have a great day in Middle Earth.